So Star Wars Rogue One comes out in just a few days. I'm very excited about it. Yesterday I did a video all about the 5 reasons I'm excited about it. However, there are a few things that have me very nervous about this movie, and there's a lot of ways this could go really, really wrong, and I want to talk about them real quick. Here are the 5 reasons I'm nervous about Star Wars Rogue One. Reason number 1, corny dialogue. Every single one of the Rogue One trailers to me has had some cheesy lines in there. So the very first one had the line, "This is a rebellion, I rebel." And I just heard that and went, ooh, I'm not so crazy about that. That's a bit on the nose for a Star Wars movie to just have something like that. It kind of made me cringe. And then the next one had a line that was like, "We have hope. Rebellions are built on hope." And I heard that and I went, ooh, I am not loving that line. And then it kind of continues on and, "May the Force be with us." It's like that. It sounds a little bit cheesy when you put it like that and say it like that. And what's your call sign? Rogue. Rogue One. Kind of winking at the audience type deal. It's like, oh, I am not digging a lot of this dialogue. Another one, "Rebellions are built on hope." And it just heard it and I was like, ooh, I mean, this feels like the dialogue that would be on like the show Star Wars Rebels, not in a movie that they've spent this much time on that's kicking off these spin-off movies. So I'm not crazy about some of these cheesy, corny, like pump you up, "We're a rebellion with hope in the Force" lines that they've been using. Reason number 2, it is a Star Wars prequel. Now, to state the obvious, the Star Wars prequels do not have the best reputation. And I think that's for good reason, that there's a lot of problems with those movies, and so therefore people are very critical of them. But really, we can get over problems with movies pretty easily. The reason that the Star Wars prequels kind of draw so much hate is because the flaws in them damage something that we love. Us that grew up with the original trilogy, there are things in the prequels that rob the stories that we love. They make Vader less cool. They make Anakin Skywalker not cool, heroic at all. They cheapen Yoda a little bit. And there's a bunch of things in there and that it robs us of our childhood in a way. I mean, that's overstating it. But if there's a feeling of like, oh, you're hurting this thing I love. And that's why, not just because, oh, it's a Star Wars prequel, that means it'll be bad. No, not just for stupid reasons like that, but because the potential of a Star Wars prequel is to once again harm the legacy of the original trilogy. And that's really the fear, the problem, and why this could be very, very bad. This could mess things up very bad. If this ship lands at the end of the movie and the credits roll and it doesn't lead well into A New Hope, it damages A New Hope. It damages the canon. It sets things up poorly. It hurts characters we love. If this guy right over here, Darth Vader, has a couple scenes in it that are awful and he's whining about Padme again, I don't think that's going to happen. But to overstate the point, if he's whining about Padme again, he hurts Darth Vader. He cheapens the original trilogy. He takes away from this great villain. Of course, the flip side to that is if he's awesome as Darth Vader, as I said in my other video, he strengthens the character again. He redeems the prequels. But on the surface, the fact that it is a prequel to Star Wars means there's the potential there for it to really screw up in a way that will make me and many other fanboys really angry. Reason number 3, it's another Death Star story. My wife is not interested in this movie at all because there's another Death Star story. She's like, well, I mean, we got that in The Force Awakens, which I liked, and then the very next story we're telling, Death Star story. And the Death Star's cool, love the Death Star, but they're playing this hand too often. They're just, oh, Death Star's cool, Death Star's cool, and we keep going back to the same thing. And so of the stories set that aren't the prequels, there's only one that didn't have some type of Death Star. The Empire Strikes Back is the only post-prequels in the timeline that is not a Death Star story, and that's weird. That is an odd choice. It's a strange direction to go that they keep going back to Death Star. We keep seeing this same storyline, the same plot device of a Death Star, and it worked really well. One time it was great. And then it's kind of questionable on some of these other ones where, I mean, that's the biggest complaint I have with The Force Awakens. We didn't need another Death Star. A lot of people are pretty critical of Return of the Jedi. Not me, but a lot of people. And one of the issues, another Death Star. And then we get to Rogue One and We're talking about the Death Star that everybody loves, but we're telling another Death Star story, and that's reason for us to go, oh man, I don't know about this. Reason number 4, it's another Empire era story. Here's what I mean by this. If you look at the world of Star Wars official canon, the number of stories told from the end of Attack of the Clones through the end of Return of the Jedi, that's where all the stories are being told. So you've got, of course, got Revenge of the Sith, you've got the Clone Wars cartoon, you've got Star Wars Rebels, you've got now this movie. There's all these stories and even books all being written kind of in this era of the Empire, which of course is a cool era. It's very interesting. But the whole Star Wars universe is interesting. Of all the spin-off movies they could have told, they picked one right in this era of time that they've told so many stories, and they've got a cartoon running all about it right now. And so we keep seeing the same era of stories. I want to see the Knights of the Old Republic. I don't necessarily want to see a Yoda, spin-off movie, but what about an era from when Yoda was being raised, a story from 100 years before the prequels? What about a story set during the rebellion, but it's across the galaxy, and it's just, it's the Magnificent Seven on Tatooine or something like that. And we're getting one more story set in the same time period about a Death Star. Of all the stories we can tell in Star Wars, of all the directions we can go, same time period, another Death Star hitting these same points over and over again, and it gets a little bit old and tiresome. I'm sure I'm going to love this movie. It's just a reason to be nervous that we keep banging on the same drum. We keep singing the same tune with Death Star, Empire, same stuff, when we've got this universe that is so vast, has so many stories to tell, so many places to explore, and we go back to Death Star during the Empire once again. Reason number 5, Felicity Jones' acting. Maybe the reason I didn't like those lines that I referenced before is just the way she's delivering them, but she's got me pretty nervous. Like, I'm hearing the way she's saying stuff and going, ooh, I don't like that. Every line that she's delivering kind of has me cringing a little bit. It doesn't flow natural. It feels like a gotcha line, a great line for a trailer. It just feels so forced, which means it feels out of place. I'm noticing the acting, I'm noticing the line, not like the cool scene. I'm focused entirely on the wrong things, and so that has me pretty nervous. I don't know if I've seen her in anything else before, and so I'm just kind of basing my thoughts and my anticipation, my expectations on what I'm seeing in the trailers. What I'm seeing in the trailers is kind of, ooh, that's pretty wooden and flat. I am not crazy about what I'm seeing. And when she's the lead, when this is the person that's kicking off these spin-off movies that has to drive this story that's a little bit familiar, touching on similar time periods, similar plot devices, where we kind of know where this is headed in certain senses, it's being driven by someone that's not impressing me in the trailer with their acting, in delivering lines themselves that don't even look all that great on paper, I'm pretty nervous about that. But that's my opinion on it. Yesterday, like I said, I did a video where I talked all about how I'm very excited for this movie. I just don't want to get my hopes up too much and be disappointed. How about you? Are you nervous about Rogue One, or are you just pumped out of your mind that this movie's going to be awesome? Tell me in the comment section. I don't want to just talk about Star Wars. I want to talk about Star Wars with you. Let's have a great chat all about Rogue One, what we're excited for, what we're nervous about. Like I said, this is Star Wars week, so on my channel, I'm putting out a lot of content all about Star Wars. On my buddy Durbin's channel, I posted a review with him all about The Force Awakens. We get into some philosophy as well. Please check out that video. Likewise, I'm going to put out a video, I believe tomorrow, that's my review of the original Star Wars spin-off movie, Ewoks, The Caravan of Courage. Please check out that video. It'll be a lot of fun because that movie is, it's not very good. So it's setting the bar low for these spin-off movies. Hopefully, maybe I'll rewatch that right before I see Rogue One just to like set my, standard really low. Well, but if you've seen it, tell me below. If you've seen the Ewoks movie, I'd love to chat about that too. So check out that video. If you're new to my channel and you've never subscribed, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I love to talk about movies, TV, and really talk with you in the comment sections about it. That's really why I'm doing this, because I want to talk about movies. As always, thank you for watching.